Hayden,
Hey,
pleasure to meet you, sir.
really nice to meet you too.
What I loved about being here today was hearing your passion about everything that you contributed to this film. When I first saw it, there were just so many little things that I saw, little Easter eggs. With manga, with anime, with Toho scope. All those little things popped out, and you explaining it, and actually me, okay, cool. I understood it. I made me appreciate the film even more.
Oh, I'm so glad.
When Emmy, she's intricate to the story.
Yeah.
She moved as though she was a human toddler. Did you have something to base that off of? Or did you just know the fluidity of how she was going to move?
So, working with Matt Vig, who was the animation supervisor, and also Tony Facilli, who was the animation supervisor for Netflix, they're both amazing animators. They really brought this kind of nuanced sense of what a baby's like. Also, as well, the animation team across all of ILM, never before have the production babies, the production babies at the end of the credits where every production baby gets their own credit, never before have the production babies earned their credits like they have on Ultraman Rising, because there was so much reference. So many of the animators were kind of going oh, my child does this thing. And it was all kind of forming this kind of library of what children, what babies especially, are like, and the kind of ridiculous things that they do. And each of those were kind of being poured into Emmy, and she became this kind of hybrid of kind of crazy things that all of the production babies had been up to. And it was great. It was really beautiful seeing that brought to life on the screen.
Yeah. A major aspect of the film is baseball.
Yeah.
Dodgers, Yankees, they're going to the World Series. The way that Ken was in the film, it was like I was watching an actual baseball player. Did you use him after anybody, maybe like a Shohei Ohtani? Or did you guys have a sense of how he wanted to swing, how his power was, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of reference that we kind of got to give us the baseball feeling. But also as well, Tony Facilli is a massive baseball fan, and he did this kind of animation masterclass for the whole team because we had a global team. And so, yeah, some of the team were really, really big baseball fans. Others on the team, and I hate to say, I'm going to hold my hand up, haven't really seen that much baseball. But what we're really always into is listening to people who are passionate on the subject. And Tony Facilli was just so passionate about it, and he got these slow-mo clips and really broke it down. So every kind of hand position, how the ball's thrown, how it arcs through the air, everything was really authentic, and we really want to make it feel very grounded, so that, like yourself, somebody who's into baseball gets those really small kind of Easter eggs of oh yeah, these guys have really paid attention to how people actually hold a bat. And yeah, that was really important to us.
When I was talking to Shannon, we were talking about, I love just the stadiums.
Yeah.
Because they were the legit, that was Dodger Stadium I looked at. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just looking how intricate that was for you guys. He was telling me they went to the clubhouse and had a full tour, and you guys had an idea of what you guys wanted. Yeah. So bravo, it looked beautiful to me.
Oh, fantastic.
I love hearing you talk about Toho Scope. I'm a big Toho Scope fan since I was little. How important was that to have that part of it into the film? Because that's to me an intricate style that not a lot of people, not a lot of animators even care about these days.
Yeah.
And it made me so happy to see something like that.
I mean, it was from that initial deep dive, because I had not a huge grounding. I knew about Ultraman, but I didn't have this kind of huge history. I kind of had the stack of DVDs. Yeah. I started working through them one at a time, and really interesting. The kind of the quality of the cinematography was just great, and it really had this kind of vibe where it had some really beautiful kind of lensing, and I really wanted to kind of make sure we were using that as much as possible. So we did a lot of research into Toho Scope. We found a rental agency where we could, you could rent them. Luckily, they had already tested their lenses and put images up, so we knew how the lenses reacted. So we've got a great tool set for matching lens kind of aberrations and flares at ILM. So we were kind of paying attention to that. But with Ultraman, it's a balance, and so we didn't want it to be 100% realistic. We wanted it to be 100% kind of stylized. We wanted it to be somewhere in the middle. So we were trying to find this balance of like, how do we take Toho scope, how do we take Akira stylization lens flares, how do we blend these all together so that we create something really, really unique just for Ultraman?
Yeah. Last question. What was your favorite moment that you created for the film? Favorite sequence?
Favorite sequence? I think one of my favorites is Emmy on the Tokyo Tower.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a moment in it. I love that sequence because it starts really playfully. So you have this moment, Emmy's on the rampage and she's just climbing the tower and it's like, it's fun. And then it takes a kind of dark twist and Onda turns up and suddenly Emmy's broken her arm but then Ultraman becomes the protector. So for the first time, Ken, Ultraman, he's owning that he has to grow up. He's the adult and he has to protect Emmy. And there's a moment where he just turns to camera and kind of glares at Onda. And it's a beautiful shot. And he's in the spotlight of the helicopter beam. It just looks gorgeous. And I really enjoyed bringing that sequence to the screen.